Welcome to Investible Partnerships, where we talk to industry leaders about growing revenue-generating partnerships. I'm your host, Des Russell, and co-founder of Partner Elevate. And the daily battle for partner success is forcing channel leaders to rethink how to maximize their relevance and value so they can be a driver of partner impact. So let's jump in and find out how. Hey, Trevor, welcome to the Investible Partnerships podcast. It is so good to have you here. And you are the first technology vendor that we've had on the podcast since we launched just over 18 months ago. So welcome. And I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and give us a little bit about your background and your role at Impartner.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Des. I'm honored that we're the first vendor. That's pretty great. Didn't know that. But yeah, I've been with Impartner for over 10 years in this stint. I did a little boomerang, to use a little local term for you there. But I was with the company when there was just a tiny bootstrap, starting up, left. And then as new leadership came in, named it Impartner. I came back, and it's been history since then. Started as the sales engineer, so I played a lot of roles. Haven't been just doing the same thing for 20 years, thankfully. Otherwise, might be a little stale. But every 3 or 4 years, I've been going into different roles. So I did sales engineering, I did product marketing, and then the previous stint, I was more on the software development side. So I have a bit of compassion and appreciation for everything that goes into each of the departments. But yeah, it's the whole time been working with people in the channel and learning the partnerships. And, as we would define what is PRM, I'd go to trade shows and people had no idea what we were talking about. So it's been a fun evolution on the technology side to see how that all goes. And so, yeah, as my new role leading the marketing team at Impartner, that just started earlier this year as my previous boss and mentor sailed off into the sunset and retired. And so I got to step into his place and keep the engine going. It's been a good ride.
So when you think about it today, I mean, this is it's a really interesting topic. Not that I think PRM, partner relationship management, over the last maybe 5 or 6 years has matured, but it's also got a lot of, to coin an Aussie term, a lot of stick, a lot of flack, because of its role in driving partner engagement and its centralized role in partner programs to drive the engagement with partners, but also to prove the value of partnerships. So what's happening right now in this PRM world? Why do you think that the traditional way of stacking technology to build a PRM is broken?
Yeah. It's been, like I said, it's been a big evolution over the years. It used to be PRM was more a custom website. We would just go in as kind of a managed service and say, what do you need? And just kind of do a company by company basis and build that out before it became more productized, a SaaS type of a technology, as we recognized there was similarities between companies that are managing a channel or having partners. You likely need deal registration, you need some sales and marketing material sharing and training and all that. And so as we've gone from the more traditional one-to-one partner relationship, just working with the reseller or just working as a referral, into this partner ecosystem explosion that's happened where multiple partners need to be collaborating. You have somebody referring the deal, and then a reseller comes in to close it, and then an implementation partner comes in. All of those people need to be talking to each other and maybe recommending each other. So that level of collaboration needed to be translated over the technology side. So you're not having to do this all offline and disorganized, right? As part of that whole digital transformation that we've been pushing for over a decade on this side, have it where it can match the needs of the companies. And because really, I look at it as the technology helps you scale, but you don't ever want to take away that personal touch, right? Those top partners, those strategic partners, you're still going to want to have that personal relationship that's what I love about the partnerships world or the channel is it's kind of old school that way. It's all about just, we're not going out and golfing maybe as much as back in the 80s and 90s to build relationships, but unfortunately, I wish. But, it still is very important to have those relationships of trust and that personal relationship so that as we help companies scale and automate and now adopt AI, that's always the word of caution. Like, don't over rotate, like still have that personal touch. You want to, even in the automation, make it personal and targeted, and otherwise you're just going to lose partners quick.
And there's this, there's this activity, there's this fine balance. I suppose the old way of stacking tools is broken. You've got this activity versus impact kind of, and we know that activity is not the same as impact that you're actually driving. So let's talk about how to actually approach building a modern partner-first tech stack. When leaders are staring down this decision between building versus platform versus buying versus modular, how do you think leaders should be thinking about this today?
Yeah, it's interesting as you say that the building versus buy. I thought by now people would understand that it's much easier to buy a pre-built thing than to build it yourself. But we still run into that where it's probably a lack of understanding of what's all involved. Maybe a little hubris that, we can build that, no problem.
Yeah.
But we still run into that. Like, why don't we just build this ourselves? And big companies that we've talked to, we hear later, oh yeah, it took 2 years and $25 million to build our portal and it's still not done yet. And we're just going, oh, we could have saved you so much time and money. So and nowadays you have a lot of different pieces of technology. So it's about centralizing that data. I mentioned AI. That's like, take a drink every time somebody mentions that, you'll be blackout by the end. But
or get a dollar and you'll be really rich.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. So with AI, you need to have clean and centralized data so you can train it, not have any blind spots, remove or at least minimize the hallucinations, all of that. So it's really important nowadays. And as I talk to different analysts like Jay McBain, that I think has been a previous guest on your show, he says that companies are now integration buyers first. And so we've really dug into, okay, let's make sure that, as much as our technology can be the one-stop shop for everything, there are still areas where people need, you have an LMS or you have maybe some incentive management, other tools, and you need those all to be talking to each other and have it where we create the PRM as the foundation so that you can apply AI and it doesn't have those blind spots of, I have no idea what's going on in this solution or that solution, but all in one spot.
So where do you think companies stall when they think about this platform versus modular approach? Is it at the strategy side? Is it that there's integration gaps? Is it internal alignment? How do you think about that?
I mean, you named a lot of them that we hear. I think the most common one is strategy, as I would go around many times, especially in my previous role in sales engineer, and sit down with companies that have purchased us for a while or that we are still, looking at that process to have them come on board. But the common theme was they just lacked a strategy. They were trying to buy the solution to fix a problem they hadn't quite figured out. We're saying, well, you can't automate no strategy. You have to have your strategy in place, and the tool will automate that. Yeah. So it was a lot of discussion around, okay, what are you trying to accomplish? What are the KPIs? What do your partners need? And let's have the tool, let's configure it so it will help accomplish those. And there's a lot of looking around the room like, who's going to answer this? I don't know. So, yeah. So the strategy is like the first thing that we say, you got to have that. And, let's get that figured out first and then apply the technology. It's a lot easier to whiteboard out ideas than try to configure things and go, that doesn't quite work. Let's do it a different way. It's
Yeah.
just a longer process. So
Yeah.
strategy number one. Second, like you mentioned internal alignment. That's another huge challenge that a lot of people in this space deal with. I know we are in the community with like partnership leaders and folks like that. And a lot of folks are wondering, how do I sell this to leadership? And, they're pushing for, well, you should have a chief partner officer. That should be a thing. Like, get on the executive team. And that's how you solve the whole wall of convincing the executives, is just be there. And it should be a strategic, as a company, approach to understand the value of partners and partnerships. So that's a big challenge that I know a lot of folks face. And again, we try to help solve through technology, improving ROI and giving them those business cases.
Yeah. And I mean, no two companies partner the same way if you kind of think about it like that. Like there is, yes, there might be there's a tech partner integration and there's the commonalities there and there's a channel partner program, but no companies really run their programs exactly the same way. So I love frameworks and I love to help our audience really understand and really take some take a couple of points. So points that they can go and apply. So if you were thinking about how to scope your stack strategy, so talking to a leader and thinking about how to scope your stack strategy, CRM, PRM, LMS, whatever it is, what are 2 or 3 things that you would consider as fundamental to scoping your stack strategy for any leader out there?
Align it to what's going to be impactful for your business, right? A lot of why partnerships work is because it's mutually beneficial. If you try to just gather partners and only want things from them, but not have anything to give them in return, you're not going to have partners for very long. This isn't a charity. We're all in business here. So, whether that's making sure that you're making it easier to work with from a vendor perspective, have that partner first approach. Go, okay, we know that we're not the only vendor that these partners are working with. How can we get their attention, their mind share? How can we make it so that a deal registration process isn't this arduous thing that is just they're dreading and don't want to work with us because it's so difficult? So trying to remove those roadblocks and like, again, just think of it from that strategic value proposition side, and then you can align the technology and what you want to do first and prioritize accordingly.
What would you say a PRM is not?
A PRM is not? Well, it's not a CRM, I guess, right? So you're not going to try, just like a CRM isn't a PRM. We run into a lot of that of, we can just build it in our CRM and it wasn't built for that. So yeah, just like a PRM, and traditionally, I guess a PRM is the best way to say it is a PRM is not what you think it was 5 years ago. It's been innovated. We run into that a lot of people try to lock PRM into this box of, it's just deal reg. It's just this, it's just for resellers and distributors. And we're using the same terminology as before, sure, but it has migrated or it has evolved into
moved on for sure.
Yeah, it's expanded. And it's not, I've seen advertising from people of, PRM is dead. I'm like, no, it's evolved, guys. Come on. It's just different. That's like saying
another clickbait title.
Yeah. And I keep saying, that's like saying CRM is dead. No, Salesforce has innovated, as an example, and so has Microsoft. It's not just the CRM. They have all these different features involved with that. And PRM has done the same thing. We've gone beyond, now we have all the platform integration capabilities and all the dynamic reporting and everything that people have been asking for and have needed.
Yeah. So once you've decided on the structure and then the direction that you want your tech stack to kind of take, the next question really comes to, or the next big conversation really comes to, well, how do you power this? And usually this means automation. And right now we talk about this lovely, these two letters, AI. And let's get a bit practical here, because I'd love to understand from your perspective, where are you seeing automation heading? And is AI actually delivering the value in partner operations, or can AI deliver the value in partner operations that we need?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit of the hype cycle with our AI as people are trying to adopt it in so many ways and trying to adopt it faster than they should, or in ways that it's not quite going to help as much or be as impactful, just to check the box that, yes, we're using AI now. So I have seen it effective in some ways, but I read an article where it said something like, within 2 years, 60% of AI projects will be canceled because it's so much of that hype cycle of just trying to get things done just to get it done. But really, our main advice that I've been giving as we go on these world tours and talk to our customers and people out in the channels space is to first make sure your data is clean. That's like the hardest thing. Nobody's data is clean. And then, do that centralization project of removing the blind spots and getting it where you have a centralized data lake to train it in all the right ways. So it knows all your information and it's unique to all of your data. It's not going and fetching your competitors' information or getting bad info that's going to feed the wrong answers. So it's really effective in a couple of ways that I've seen it deployed. Really, with reporting, it can help. The more historical data you give it, it can give really good insights. We just started adopting it for our own purposes to help bring in all of our Gong calls, bring in all of the information in our CRM, and bring it in from our Jira tickets. So it has every data we have collected in all these different tools, centralize that, and we can now go, is this account at risk? And it goes, oh yeah, I know everything you've done with that. So it's really saving a lot of time of what was manual research. And so I think that's the optimization is really where AI thrives. Where people are still running into issues is when you're trying to have it be a full replacement for answering questions. You still get those answers you can't quite trust 100%. I think Agentforce was said to be 58% effective, accurate. Not great. So there's some improvements to be made there. And so just cautiously stepping into that. Okay, well, let's have a chatbot, but let's still have a human option there, right? And just stepping into it that way and iterating and letting the technology catch up as we go, but not trying to rush into it.
Yeah. I'll echo your points around the use of the technology to really help with a lot of the discovery side of things. I think that's a mess. Like if there's a single pane of glass for a partner manager to be able to understand the full opportunity or full interaction or full history or life cycle of a particular partner, I think AI does open that window to it. And take the Agentforce example. I think the accuracy when ChatGPT first hit was really, really terrible. Like everyone was like, oh, it's not accurate and all of that. But over time it's learned, and over time it's got better, and there's more context to it. There's a gentleman by the name of Alex Smith. I don't know if you know him. He's from the Futurum group. I used to be at Canalys, and he posted. He said I could share some of the points that they're actually tracking the AI use cases that are specifically being utilized across partner relationship PRM, and it kind of puts us into three key categories. And I'm just having a look at some of the data that he said I could share. And there's three categories: partner management, partner sales, and the partner finance side of things. And the one area where partner management, what's tracking high there is partner portal agents. Okay. So we've kind of gone the death of the portal, and now we're going to build. Now we're going to build agents to operate in the portal. So, what's your view? Do you have a point of view on that? Is the are partner portals now cool because we're going to have partner agents, or what's going on here?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a, which path are we taking here? I still think, as much as we're trying to de-emphasize or even get rid of the portal, it's kind of gotten to be a bad word. We try not to say portal around here. It's still going to be a place for certain things. You're still going to need to go to an authenticated area to get secure document sharing or get specific training, or go and chat with the agent, right? So it's still going to serve that purpose, but we are still serving both masters type of thing. We are still trying to de-emphasize. Let's not have everything have to go to the portal. Like if you have a Slack channel or a Teams channel with your partners, let them deal reg through there or register or do activities there. And let's pull that data into the central engine of the PRM database in the back end, but not force all activity to the portal. It's kind of the mantra of let's go to where the partners are. That's the approach that we're going. So I think that works.
I think my point of view of where I think this can really make an impact is a lot of the time what partners need help with is at a point in, there's an activity that they're working with, whether it be co-sell, whether it be enablement. And I think in terms of the agent concept, where I see it's got a massive opportunity is to meet the partner in context. So if you kind of think like the portal as it is today, context is delivered by what you're actually looking for, not where you are. So you kind of, I'm looking for this, and then you kind of go through this deep dark search way to go and find things. I think where agents really have an opportunity to provide some massive gains for the partner experience is where these agents can meet partners in the context of what they're actually doing, and when they meet them there, they have context for what they've done, for what their partner's actually done before, and what they need help with right there. To me, that I see that is a massive opportunity. Imagine you're co-selling. You get to the point where you are now looking for some product information or some pricing information, and this agent understands who you're co-selling with, who the competitors are in the deal, and presents to you right then and there your pricing strategy or the strategy that it feels will win the deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. The smarter we can treat or teach these agents to be, it's going to be so much more effective. That's kind of the long-term vision that we have on our product side is, okay, let's start today with answering the simple questions, teach it all the documentation and training and webinars, whatever we have, answer the simple questions, but then let's start iterating on that, pull in all the deal data. So as it's starting to register a deal, looks like you're doing this. You want to pull in all the data you did before. You're pricing around this price range or whatever it may be. It knows all that historical data and can provide really good context and suggestions there.
Yeah. I was actually a fun story. I was at a conference this week in Queensland on the Gold Coast in Australia, and it's the Edge conference. Vendors, distributors, and channel partners coming together. About 200-300 people, and one of the conversations that I heard multiple times was how partners and vendors were utilizing AI to help understand the pricing strategy for their competitors.
Yeah.
So the one use case is this: the one channel partner was saying what they do in their sales process now is they actually, if they know who they're up against, let's say another MSP in a particular deal, what they'll do is they'll utilize artificial AI, whether it's ChatGPT, I don't know what they're using, but to go and do research on the potential pricing strategy that this particular MSP is likely to put forward based on their experience and their skills. I thought that was quite a different way to think about a use case of how you're actually utilizing the amount of data that's actually out there already to help you do something. So
yeah, maybe it's the cynic in me, but my thought was, okay, well, let's have our pricing strategy all make sure it's completely off the internet, but feed false information into ChatGPT. Our pricing strategy is this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's the thing, right? You still got to go, well, how do I interpret this? Is this actually their is this actually good? Is this bad data?
Right.
Which is the thing I want to talk to about the data. You know, we've kind of gone, it's really exciting to hear how AI is kind of making, or the opportunity that it's going to have in making that partner experience more fast, effective, and more responsive. But you mentioned earlier, and I'll pick up this point around the data. It actually all hinges on the use of data, or the data that's actually there. And we talk about clean data, we talk about bad data, and we talk about data that's been fed in the example that you've just just mentioned now. So before you can deploy anything smart, how do you ensure that your foundation, from a PRM point of view, how do you ensure that your foundation isn't a mess? Like, what are the biggest gaps or pitfalls that you actually see holding companies back from actually maturing their tech stack?
Well, usually it's just a lack of reporting and understanding where you're at. The most common story is, well, we started with spreadsheets and you're kind of doing what you can with the tools that are available. And the biggest mistake is just trying to do what you think is right without ever getting the feedback either from the partners themselves or what they're telling you through their data and behaviors. So, if you're not looking to see, wow, our deal registrations are down, I wonder why that could be. And you're not able to tell if you don't have the right amount of information collected. Or, sometimes the simplest answer is just to ask the partners directly, hey, we notice you aren't working with us as much. What can we do better? And identifying what those gaps are necessarily. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, or at least alluded to before, in partnerships, there's no silver bullet. Like, every company is going to have unique issues, ways that they need to interact with their partners, depending on the products they sell, how do they want to go to market, the verticals they're in. So yeah, it's a wide variety. So it's kind of a vague answer, but it's mostly just have open lines of communication and make sure that you are aligned with your partners, and see where the gaps are with your KPIs.
And what are some of the common data, the data issues that you see in PRMs that are really holding people back to get the most out of it?
Yeah, it's kind of the standard to say, well, engagement is logins to the portal. Is it though? Like, is that really the be-all tell-all that's your engaged partner? Is if they have logged into the portal or not? Maybe they already know your solution really well and they don't need to take any more training, and they'll come back when they have a deal. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be a good partner engaged, or you can have the false negatives of somebody logging in every day and just going, yeah, I don't need this, or whatever it may be. So having more of a holistic view of, okay, what are the common characteristics of our top partners? Are they the ones that have completed all of our training? Are they the ones that have interacted with certain documents that we've put up there? Ones that are high performing and right on the cusp of being from gold to platinum, but haven't quite got there? Like, is there something we can do to push? So there's a lot of areas where you can dive into. As long as you're tracking all this, you can find areas where it makes more sense to invest, and areas where, okay, these guys, no matter how much effort, they're not going to be as profitable for us. So we'll just leave them on automation. If they stay, great.
So once the stack is clean, so once your tech stack is clean and aligned from a data perspective, I suppose the other challenge that comes up is now, okay, we've got the best built, we've got the Mercedes. Now we've got to get people to actually drive it. So how do we now get partners engaged, right? So how do you use this well-aligned tech stack that's good data, good clean data, that has good processes, and now we want to use this to engage partners, not just track what they've completed, as you just mentioned, not just track the activities that they've gone through. So let's talk about how companies are evolving their partner comms to be more engaging, but also to be more personalized to those particular partners so they are relevant.
Yeah, you already gave the answer I was going to right there. Is you need to have good targeted communication, right? So there's an old baseball movie in the U.S. of "If you build it, they will come" was kind of the
Kevin Costner, right?
You know it. All right, we're on the same page. So yeah. That is not true in PRM world. Like you could build the most beautiful partner program in PRM, and it won't guarantee that anybody's going to come and enjoy it until you give the right amount of communication. You got to market it and let them know what do they stand to gain by taking the time and effort to go in and engage with this. So do that with your targeted communications. Make a big noise about it. Maybe it's offering some incentive, whatever it is, to get them hooked onto that new process. Because change management is always the biggest obstacle to overcome, no matter what you're doing. So just getting that new motion and getting them to get the dopamine hit or whatever it is, throw in the gamification, throw in the incentive in some way so that they are familiar with it and they are wanting to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I always liken partner comms very much to or partner engagement very much to unlocking GTM relevance. And I can't tell you how many times we at Partner Elevate we work across vendors and distributors, and they building GTM programs. And I can't tell you how many times. There's the email that's sent with the partner comms, which is training that you can engage in or go to market opportunities. And there are 15 bullet points with links to things that partners can just go and engage with. But the reality is it's never relevant. It's not all that relevant to what they're trying to do right then and there, or the thing that you've actually been telling them 3 weeks ago, which was stop doing this. This is where we want you to focus. And all of a sudden, they've got a marketing comms, they've got a marketing email which says, hey, here's a whole bunch of enablement that you can go to. So the segmentation of the communication is like, it's just not there. And it actually slows down, to me, it slows down all the other efforts that is happening across that partner program when partners are getting bombarded with these long laundry list of things that they can go and do. And it's super frustrating for a partner to go, I have to read 15 lines to go and determine what exactly you want me to do or what opportunity it is. Just make it relevant for me where I am right now. And I want to talk about this where I am right now, because get your point of view from a PRM point of view is, do organizations actually know where a partner is in their life cycle journey?
They certainly should, but yeah, that's not always the case. Like you said, in that communication, if it's just a generic email and you have information that a gold partner that's been with you for 5 years is going to want to hear, your new partner you just onboarded that's at silver level or no level, they're going to feel overwhelmed and the attention will just go off, right? So you'll lose them right away. So yeah, make sure that every piece of communication to go out, do not put any filler information, have it all very targeted, specific, and easy to read. Like if you're giving a wall of text, our attention spans just can't handle that. We all have our ADD or whatever, and it just doesn't last. So it's super, and of course, make it very relevant and important. Like, don't give them the old Instagram, hey, I'm now at lunch, whatever. Nobody cares. So
Yeah. Make
have
it
it be
relevant,
important.
make it relevant, make it important. How much of the tech stack is actually part of driving that GTM alignment and engagement for partners? How much of the tech stack needs to be there for you to be able to do this effectively?
Well, I think you can do a lot of these things, and that's why people fall into the manual efforts. You can do this a lot just through email and through the tools you have without a PRM. But as soon as you're trying to do that for 10, 20, 30 partners, you're going to either drive yourself nuts or, not have a life, or, something's going to drop off. So you need to be able to have that level of automation in there. So that's the trick, is leverage the platform to scale and automate what you've been doing on that personal individual level. Like, you wouldn't dare send this generic email to one specific partner that has information for others. So don't do that when you've scaled either. Make sure that you're still having that targeted communication. So that's where you have to leverage the tools. The tools are capable, but not everybody leverages them in the right way. So it really is on your execution and leveraging the tools that are available, just like with AI, just like with any technology. Make sure that you have the right approach and execution, because that's all the difference in the world. And a lot of people just blame the tool for the failure when they've just executed it incorrectly.
Yeah, I think that's a great lens, Trev. I think it's this lens of engagement through relevance. Or, that is super, super, super important. And you've got to do the time to make sure that that engagement is actually relevant. But I suppose at the same time, partner expectations keep shifting as well, right? And more portals, more tools, and more noise.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of feel like we have this, we're trying to improve the engagement, but we're also trying to do it with a whole bunch of other things that does obviously create a lot of noise. So let's kind of zoom out for a second here, Trevor, and I'd love to understand from you, what do you see is coming next in this evolution of the partner of partner tech?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. I think there's still a lot of momentum still to be had with the marketplaces, the hyperscaler marketplaces. A lot of companies are seeing the benefits of transacting through there, because they give great bonuses and feedback and inspiration to do that. It's kind of like, I don't ever spend cash anymore because my credit card benefits are so great. Why would I just spend cash when I can get 3% back or whatever it may be? These marketplaces are taking that same approach. So they're really motivating companies. You should transact through us because you'll get all these benefits back. So the big piece that needs to happen on the partnerships world is, right now they're pretty cut out. There's not a whole lot of partners that are transactable on these marketplaces that their vendors are. So if you're trying to add your services as a partner onto this deal, and the partner and the end user just goes, oh, I'll just transact through the marketplace, you are cut off. So trying to find a way where you can include and not exclude the partners in that whole world, let them tap into all the benefits available there. I think that's one big evolution we'll have here in the near term. Another is, I still think there's a lot of work to be done from the technology standpoint, like you say, to make it a better partner experience. Whether you try to do that single pane of glass, okay, instead of 10 different vendor portals I log into, I just log into a single one, and it has just click a box into which of the 10 I'm working with, and you can get all your information in at least one. So that's kind of another tweak that I know a lot of technologies are looking to try to do, but there's plenty of challenges to go along with that. But that's the utopia that we're trying to go for. Because, if we're looking at partner first, nobody wants to remember 10 different logins. It's just a headache, right? And to go into every one of those different things, it's the friction that we would really like to remove. So how we are able to incorporate that and then have AI, so you don't have to log into the specific portal. Maybe the AI is embedded into their own CRM or wherever they're living today. Just like I say, whatever tools they're using, let's minimize the change management. Let's go to what they're doing today and just bolt on what we need so that we can give them the information and the tools they need there.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that this partner's tech stack is, it's not just evolving; it's actually being redefined.
Oh yeah,
And so for the leaders that are listening today, what would your let's try and bring it back to what they can do right now.
Yeah,
they can listen. After they've listened to this podcast, what can they go do right now? What's one piece of advice that you would give them, a leader who wants to start modernizing their tech stack? What's one piece of advice you can help them to make that tech stack truly partner first?
Yeah, well, and it's always about the bottom line with executives, right? So I was going to say, make sure that you can assess the ROI of the tools you have today in place and what adjustments you can make. But if you're really trying to make it partner first, because the reality is the tech stack is still pretty vendor centric, and you're forcing your partners into different motions and things like that. But yeah, the partner first is still try to strike that balance between automation and breaking down those walls of friction, making it as easy as possible with the tools you have available to work with you, right? Don't put them into, a lot of people still have, well, yeah, I log into the portal, but if you need training, you need to go to this other thing. If you need this, go to different. I mean, let's not add more logins. Let's not make it harder. So at least have a one place so they can get all that information. But yeah, just make sure that you're doing clear communication and staying in touch with the partners. And if you do have a portal and they log in as the same welcome message from a year ago, you're probably not doing enough updates. Keep things fresh. Just always make those updates. Think partner first. Like, what is our experience? Or have your partners sit down. Can I look over your shoulder and let me see what it looks like when you log into our stuff? Ooh, okay, yeah. You can see things through their eyes a little bit better. But yeah, just leverage those relationships and that trust, and have them give honest feedback.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've spoken about a couple of things. We've spoken about flexibility. We've spoken about the use of technology in a partner stack, how to modernize a partner stack, the role of data, the role of communication, the role of engagement with partners. So there's a lot happening. There's a lot that we need to think about. And I love the fact that you wrap that up, which often isn't the first thing we think about, is like, what's the ROI? What's the ROI that you need to get from this modernization that's going to make this win business case that you can actually take to your board or to your investment committee, depending, or just if you're a smaller vendor, just to management, to go and get them to buy into it. So we now kind of have the fun part of the show, which is
right.
we've educated, we've helped people.
Wait, it wasn't fun already? Is there...
And this is the true fun part of the show, which is we do the Partnerships Fast Five.
Okay.
So Partnerships Fast Five, I'm just going to say, start a couple of sentences or 5 sentences, and all I want you to do is to finish it off with one word that comes to mind for you. Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. Most people do pass this.
Okay, good.
Pass this, but it's not a test anyway. Okay, so you ready to have a bit of fun, Trevor?
Ready.
Okay, cool. First one, partnerships thrive on?
Shared purpose. I'm cheating. That's not one word.
We're going to hyphen it.
Shared purpose. There we go.
Partnerships embody?
I'd say innovation.
Oh, I love that.
Because you're bringing together 2 different worlds, really, and you're trying to find ways to benefit the customer in the end, too.
I love it. Through partnerships, you can?
Maximize revenue. We'll have to hyphenate again.
Sure. Okay. You're not doing that well, yeah. Come on,
I
Trevor,
know.
one word.
I'm too wordy.
Typical marketing, right? Marketing.
Yeah.
You gotta.
I'll throw it in the ChatGPT for some synonyms.
Partnerships spark.
Innovation. I already said that one, didn't I?
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Comes to mind. Don't worry. No right or wrong answer. And then lastly, partnerships succeed through
outcomes. Expanding because I can't help myself. Mutually beneficial outcomes, right? you have to have to be a win-win situation. Yeah. That's really how you succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor, it has been such a good conversation with you, and I certainly appreciate you coming on to the show and sharing what is fundamentally a very big part of how we drive success for any partner program. We need people, but then we also need the tech that connects everything, that connects the data, that connects the processes, that connects all the stuff, and that actually makes our partner program more successful at the end of the day. So I really appreciate you, and I love the work that Impartner is doing in the space. So for our audience who are and leaders who are looking to have a word, connect with you, where's the best place for them to find you and the Impartner team?
I live on LinkedIn, but you can find us on our site, impartner.com. You can easily click any of the 100 buttons we have out there to request a demo if you want to set up a call. Yeah, exactly. Or, if you just want to chat, then hook up with me on LinkedIn and we'll chat.
Excellent. Trevor, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time, and all the best.
Thank you so much, Des. That was great.
Thank you for listening to Investible Partnerships. Subscribe wherever you listen and visit investablepartnerships.com for the transcripts of today's show.